Hello, and welcome to this podcast series about trends, technology, and business. For Cisco, I'm Julie Harmon. Michelle Wahlgren is the Vice President for Information Technology at AEG, a leading global sports and entertainment company. Her choices and ideas influence how both presenters and spectators experience live events. We spoke via telephone recently about how technology is changing everything, from a day at the ballpark to a night at the opera.
Thank you so much for being with us here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Do me a favor and please describe AEG for me.
The name of the company is Anschutz Entertainment Group, and so that's what you call AEG. We are the leading presenter of sports and entertainment throughout the world. We are places where events occur. We're facilities, we're venues like Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles and Sprint Center in Kansas City. And we have entertainment districts such as the O2 that we have in London, and we have one called LA Live in downtown Los Angeles. We have another company called AEG Live, and they are the second largest concert promotion and special event touring company in the world. In addition, we have another group there called Network Live, and they're one of the number one providers of live digital entertainment. And then we have a sports division that has national and international professional teams.
Now, what motivated AEG to look at using technology as a value-added feature at their venues?
We've got a corporate group, which is our strategic development group, and our database marketing group, and they're really looking at it from the top down. So they're really looking at what do we know about the fan and what do we know about the client that's coming to our venue and how can we use that information to help better ourselves. But we also have very skilled and knowledgeable people on the field handling the operations within the venue, and that's handling operations of back of the house, so that's your setup for a production crew for the Grammys, for instance. And once we learn something new at a venue like a Staples Center, we very quickly turn around and just apply that at our other venues when appropriate.
How do you evaluate and choose the technologies that go into each venue?
Did you ever play with Legos as a child?
I did.
It's kind of like that. When I'm building a facility, what I want to make sure of is that I'm building a strong enough and flexible enough base infrastructure so that I don't have to be worried right now today of the things that are going to happen next week, because they literally do happen that quickly. And so I select products, first of all, that give me that flexible base, which is my network infrastructure, and then products that have an open framework so that I can plug it in when appropriate or unplug it if something changes without having to undo everything.
Flexibility and scalability would be key watchwords for you in this business.
Oh, absolutely. And then, I'm also looking for how the type of support that's available for a product line. That's absolutely critical. And then I just go from there.
Now, some of these are built with tenants in mind, but sometimes you have no initial tenant when you're building a facility. So you have to take a leap of faith that what you're presenting is going to be embraced by the tenant who may be looking at the space, that what you're offering is something that has a value to them. So when you look at a technology, when do you realize it's going to take us this many months to pay this back?
We have a current venue that we built in Kansas City called the Sprint Center, and it does not have a home team, if you will. And so there was a lot of speculation about, are we going to be able to really make this a profitable venue? And I think that's the beauty of AEG, and that's kind of what sets us apart from our competitors. With us, there's nothing but opportunity in an empty space or an empty venue, with or without a team or a core tenant, because we have this luxury of being able to call to our AEG Live group who have talent and can populate the venue. So, for instance, we opened Sprint Center October 18 with Elton John, and it's been booked solid practically ever since, with talent that AEG Live has brought and talent that other producers bring to what is now a world-class facility.
Talk to me a little bit about what AEG has used in their venues in terms of Cisco technology.
They really have this core competency in the infrastructure realm. And so from my perspective, Cisco is what we've standardized on throughout AEG, and that is the big Lego block that I've based the network infrastructures on, because it provides me that flexibility. So currently the cores at the majority of our facilities are Cisco, and all new facilities are Cisco. And in addition, we've then deployed technology such as their voice over IP, also their wireless controllers, their wireless access points throughout our facilities, such as the O2 in London. And we're also deploying telepresence, and we have digital media on the horizon. And we are very focused right now as we prepare to open our LA Live facility on their security offerings, their intelligent building offerings, and unified communications.
You talk about building management. Unified communications gives people the opportunity to sort of work anywhere, anytime. How is that creating efficiencies that you're able to see a bottom line impact?
Last year, 2007, my physical sites that we supported went from 31 to 55. The number of users that we support went up by 86%. So that's a large growth. And you can imagine I can't be hiring people side by side on the IT group to keep up with that growth. It doesn't happen that way. And so to handle the growth, it was very important for us to centralize certain functions. Now, we were told by our boss that we're going to go from 50 to 100 sites next year. And so centralization is key to our ability to streamline our processes and to be able to handle the kind of growth that our company is looking at.
Now, I'm sure you've been to other venues where you see mixed environments and multiple vendors and devices that don't talk to each other. And when you go into places like that, are you just astonished that they haven't gotten it, so to speak, that they haven't figured it out?
It's a nightmare, and it's not like I have to go to a non-AEG event place to experience that, unfortunately. AEG will operate venues without having built them and without the benefit of having taken part in the decision-making process. And I'll give you a good example. Our Prudential Center, which we just opened, we signed an operating agreement with them, but after they had already decided all of the technology that was going to be going into that. And so they made decisions that differed from what we would have done. And they had a different vendor for their wireless, a different vendor for their voice, and a different vendor for their network implementation. So that adds a complexity. You don't have the luxury of a day or two to troubleshoot. You only have maybe 2 or 3 hours to set up an event. And then they have to be functional for the actual event for which tickets are already sold. In an environment like that, if your network's not running at that time, they'll go on with the show without the network. And the complication there is you've really hurt your reputation in the industry. So people aren't going to want to go to your venue. And so if we have a streamlined environment, for instance, our Sprint Center in Kansas City, it's a completely Cisco house from the ground up, phone system, wireless, everything, and all from one provider, which is Sprint. And so we're able to very easily troubleshoot any issues that might be occurring between the two groups, between the visitor and ourselves.
Now, how is technology creating opportunities for AEG to drive revenue? I know that they're building stadiums that use a much more interactive approach to the fan experience, or they create customer relationships through contact center management. What services do you think have great opportunity for you?
And those are the fun questions. And I think the value chain itself in our industry is changing in that this knowledgeable, engaged fan, if these folks are really engaged with technology, they use the internet a lot, they have handhelds, so they actually can participate now in helping us to customize packages and activities, and whether it be merchandise, food and beverage, other types of events, the timing of the event, whatever it might be, they actually are now able to be engaged.
What are some of the things that fans tell you they particularly like or even don't like?
There's a resounding answer here, and it has everything to do with service. An AEG quality experience has to do with the type of service that you receive from the moment you buy a ticket. So it starts at the part where you're buying the ticket. It goes on to how you access the parking and how you access the facility, to stepping foot into the facility, the way you receive service at the box office. When your ticket is taken, how do you find your seat, and through the food and beverage experience, and ultimately after you've left, you'll be exiting the parking experience. So it's total and complete excellent service from start to finish.
Now, in terms of the future, dream a little bit for me. Tell me what you could have on your wish list.
I would like us to really be in a technological world where standards are very much accepted and followed, because that helps us all achieve our goals, whether it's AEG, Cisco, or anybody else, or any of our competitors. My ideal venue. Okay, it'd be totally awesome. From the outside, you start to get engaged. Maybe you order some food that can be delivered to your table, or there's a package that we had an idea you might like because we know you so well. And then once you get inside, you can see the instant replays that you want to see, or you can see behind the scenes rehearsals, or you can interact and send your own content to be viewed because it might be the birthday of your child, and you might be walking down the hall and you have a device speak to you and invite you to come in and have a drink at the bar because they happen to know that your favorite drink is Patron. So it's like customized. It's this quality, exciting kind of feeling.
I hope I live in the world that you dream in a couple of years. Thank you so much for spending time to talk to us today.
Thank you.
And thanks to you, the audience, for being part of the conversation. To listen to other podcasts in this series, please visit newsroom.cisco.com. Until next time, I'm Julie Harmon for Cisco.